A few months ago, I published a video expressing my concerns about a few things we had seen in promotional images for the show. The trailer has eased a few of my concerns, it's raised a couple more, and left a few unchanged. Here are my thoughts. We already know from much of the promotional material about the show that the show is going to focus on the stories of three main characters. Lucy, a vault dweller from Vault 33, Maximus, a soldier in the Brotherhood of Steel, and the Ghoul, who's just a ghoul. Previously, we didn't really understand how they interacted with each other, but the trailer has given us a few clues. We find the Ghoul aiming a weapon at Lucy. Then there's a section in Philly where Lucy actually shoots the Ghoul with what appears to be a tranquilizer dart. We see Maximus inside a suit of T-60 power armor, and a short while later we find a guy in T-60 power armor fighting the Ghoul in Philly. Incidentally, these shots of Philly show me that my worry that they just recreated Megaton is unnecessary. This scrap town Philly looks and feels like a unique scrap town. It's not a carbon copy of a scrap town we've already seen in the games. We get the impression that the Ghoul is not very friendly, but then we see the Ghoul watching old television shows, and the star of the show is himself as a cowboy. He was an actor. This tells us that he's old. He's a pre-war Ghoul, a man who lived before the bombs dropped and was turned into a Ghoul by the nuclear fallout of the Great War. Fans of the games will already know this, but for those who don't, in the Fallout universe, extreme exposure to radiation will either turn you into a feral ghoul, where you lose your mind, or a non-feral ghoul, where you retain your capacities for human reason. Your personality and intelligence remains intact, but you're scarred on the outside. But both versions of the ghoul are immortal. They can still be killed, but they don't die from old age. This actor is still alive 200 years after the bombs dropped, because he turned into a ghoul sometime shortly after the bombs dropped. This might help explain why we see the Ghoul before he became a ghoul at the very beginning of the trailer. He's an actor. We just learned that he starred in westerns, but here he appears to be doing a promotional video for Vault Tech, promoting Vault 4, a vault that has hitherto not been talked about in any canonical Fallout works. This is the only time we see Vault 4, so we can only speculate. As it was in a promotional video starring this actor, perhaps it's not a real vault, maybe it was just a set, a promotional vault to advertise Vault Tech's products. Before the war, he had a love interest, and he had a daughter. So if he is as old as all of that, he's seen everyone he's ever loved taken from him, his entire world and being stripped away. I think the Ghoul is going to be a complex and interesting character. So the Ghoul is very old. He's seen some stuff. The wasteland has changed him, and yet, Dogmeat likes him. We don't know that this dog is Dogmeat, but what are the odds that it's not? This dog is following the Ghoul around, and we know from Fallout lore that you never choose Dogmeat, Dogmeat chooses you.
Worked with him a few times, but he only likes certain people. Hell of an animal. Doesn't really have an owner, but he's always ready to help out when he's needed.
But later in the trailer, we see Lucy and Dogmeat together, as if Dogmeat was protecting Lucy. Shortly thereafter, the Ghoul and Lucy are walking into a super-duper mart, guns put away. And Maximus, who was attacking the Ghoul in Philly, shares a lot of screen time with Lucy in this trailer. I get the impression that the relationship between these three characters is going to be very complex. They're going to be at times friends, at times enemies. There's a line in the trailer that stands out to me, and I think it epitomizes the relationship between these three characters.
Everyone wants to save the world, they just disagree on how.
What a great line that is! And it fits in so well with all of the previous games, too. No major faction leader in any of the Fallout games thinks that he's the villain. The Master from Fallout 1 thought that he was doing what he was doing for the betterment of humanity.
I am no villain.
You have no idea what I or
The Unity
is about.
Even Caesar thinks that what he's doing is for the greater good of humanity.
In Rome, I found a template for a society equal to the challenges of the post-apocalyptic world. A society that could and would survive.
Even Father thinks that what he's doing is for the future of humanity.
This just confirms the truth I've always known. The Commonwealth is dead. There's no future here. The only hope for humanity lies below.
Everyone wants to save the world. They just disagree on how. And that, I think, is going to be why we see the three main characters at times fighting with each other, and at times working with each other. They work with each other when their goals are aligned, but when those goals conflict, they're not afraid to fight each other. I was previously concerned that we hadn't heard anything about the NCR. After all, according to established Fallout lore, the NCR is the ruling government on much of the West Coast, including LA. Thankfully, the trailer mentions the NCR. However, not in a way I think any of us would have expected. We see a sign that says Shady Sands Public Library. The sign stands beside a crater. There was never a place before the bombs dropped called Shady Sands, at least not according to any established lore. Shady Sands was the name of the first village that the Vault Dweller stumbled upon after leaving his vault in Fallout 1. Shady Sands was the origin of the NCR. Between the events of Fallout 1 and Fallout 2, the NCR grew as a nation from the town of Shady Sands. By the time of Fallout New Vegas, the NCR was ruling the West Coast and making expeditions into the Mojave Wasteland. They were rich, they were powerful. And yet here, Shady Sands is a ruin. What happened? Later on in the trailer, we see soldiers wielding an NCR flag. And this is the NCR flag, not the California flag, because it has a two-headed bear. Soldiers with the NCR flag are fighting the Brotherhood of Steel at the Griffith Observatory in Los Angeles, which is really close to the Hollywood sign. We see a host of vertibirds attacking the Griffith Observatory, and soldiers of the NCR appear to be wearing lore-accurate combat armor, wielding lore-accurate laser pistols and other lore-accurate weapons. They got so many of the details right here. Conflict between the Brotherhood and the NCR is to be expected. It's well established in Fallout lore. During Fallout 2, we got the impression that the Brotherhood didn't really want to meddle in the affairs of nation building. They were content to keep to themselves, which is why the NCR absorbed the territory of Maxon, presumably where Lost Hills, the first Brotherhood of Steel bunker, was located. But by the events of Fallout New Vegas, the Brotherhood of Steel's ambition to hoard technology brought them into conflict with the NCR. They had a huge battle at Helios 1, a solar energy plant in the Mojave Wasteland. The Brotherhood was led into battle by Father Elijah, and the Brotherhood lost. We find Helios 1 occupied by NCR. The Brotherhood, licking their wounds, retreated into the Hidden Valley bunker, and Father Elijah exiled himself to the Sierra Madre. In every major conflict between the NCR and the Brotherhood, the NCR has come out victorious, which makes me wonder why Shady Sands is a crater. Why no one in the NCR is wearing power armor. The NCR has used power armor. We see them using power armor during the events of Fallout New Vegas. And the NCR has vertibirds in Fallout New Vegas. President Aaron Kimball lands on the Hoover Dam in a vertibird in order to give a speech before the assembled NCR troops. But in this trailer, we don't see the NCR in power armor. We don't see them flying vertibirds. Shady Sands is a smoking crater, and the NCR appears to be holed up at the Griffith Observatory. Something happened between the events of Fallout New Vegas and the events of this show that reversed the fortunes of the NCR. It appears that the Brotherhood has won major conflicts against the NCR. It's hard to divine more about their relationship from the trailer. I'm confused because I don't know how this could have happened, but at the same time, I'm excited because I want to learn how it happened. It's not necessarily impossible. After all, the West Coast elders could have received a treasure trove of technology from the East Coast chapter of the Brotherhood of Steel, especially if they were victorious against the Institute and the Railroad after the events of Fallout 4. If Elder Maxon sent a bunch of technology and weapons and vertibirds and people back to the West Coast elders, that could have given them enough power to take on the NCR. Maybe. It's a bit of a stretch, but it's a possibility. I just really hope they take the time to explain what happened. Overall, I'm satisfied with the casting of the TV show. A trailer isn't very much to go by, but I haven't seen any red flags from the performances that we've seen. Additionally, I was excited by some of the casting surprises in the trailer. In the vault, we see Kyle MacLachlan, star of the original Dune movie, star of Twin Peaks. From the images released earlier, we learn that he plays Lucy's father. As a big fan, I'm excited. One thing that disappointed me a little bit is that they didn't bring in Stephen Russell to voice the Mr. Handys. However, it sounds like the Mr. Handy is voiced by Matt Berry. Take a listen.
I'm simply going to harvest your organs.
Yeah, that Matt Berry. The same Matt Berry from IT Crowd.
Look who it is, everyone. It's only me. There's somebody at the door. There's somebody at the door. There's somebody at the door. Wow, a gun!
The same Matt Berry from Toast of London.
Yeah, I can hear you, Clem Fandango.
Are you joking? Ray Purchase.
Is that it? Just that one word?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm a big Matt Berry fan. I love everything he's been in. So even though I wish they would have cast Stephen Russell, if they had to cast anyone, I'm glad they cast Matt Berry. But overall, the trailer has encouraged me. The attention to detail we see is astounding. The bottles of medicine in the Mr. Handy surgery look like bottles of Rad-X. The weapons wielded by NCR, the Ghoul, and all of the other characters look like weapons we've used in the games. The combat armor looks like combat armor. The vault suits look like vault suits. The vault interiors, which look like they were ripped right out of Fallout 4. The look and feel of the universe is right on point with the games. Really, the biggest thing that's off is the cars, but I guess I can overlook that one. We see humor and sarcasm, which are really important to help capture the soul of the Fallout franchise. What I haven't seen is slapstick. And that would have really ruined it for me. The Fallout franchise has lots of funny moments, but it's not itself a joke. All of the characters in the world take their role in that world seriously. And from everything we've seen from the trailer, it looks like all of these characters do as well. Which means I think they might have nailed the tone. And nailing the tone is half the battle. If they missed the tone of the franchise, they would have lost us all. They definitely would have lost me. You can get the cars wrong and forget that Corvega exists in the universe, and alright, it's a small detail. You can put a flip-up mask on the helmet of a T-60, which is completely new and isn't in any of the games, and alright, I can forgive it. Especially since, by the way, if you take a look at the T-45 helmet, it actually has a huge hinge on the mask, which gives you the impression that it can open up, so maybe the T-60 can open up, it just never did in any of the games. You can add something new, like that Vault Tech produced a line of Plan B drugs, apparently, for people who couldn't get into a vault. Don't remember that from any of the games. But I suppose it doesn't surprise me, knowing the kind of company Vault Tech was. You can make little changes like these, and I'm still on board, as long as you nail the tone. And the trailer has given me hope that they have. There's a quote from the Fallout show's director, Jonathan Nolan, going all over social media right now. The headlines always read something like this: "Pleasing the fans of the video game is a fool's errand." Troubling for sure, but I think it's important that we read his full thoughts so that we can get the full context of what he was saying. The article from which that quote derives comes from an interview where he said that Fallout 3 consumed nearly a year of his life. The game was ludicrously playable and fun. Seriously, the games were just incredible. He describes the Fallout franchise as a series of games that he absolutely loves. But he goes on to say that despite being a rabid fan of Fallout and understanding the importance of keeping the core essence of the game's lore intact, Director Nolan says, "I don't think you really can set out to please the fans of anything, or please anyone other than yourself. It's kind of a fool's errand to try to figure out how to make other people happy. You've got to make yourself happy, and I've made myself very happy with the show." Despite the salacious headlines this interview has garnered, I actually think this is a pretty appropriate take. It's unlike the takes of the showrunners of other game and novel to TV adaptations like The Witcher, where the writers actually despised the source material and mocked it. or where the producers blamed Americans and fans for the poor performance of Season 3. He's not saying any of that there. He's just saying that it's a fool's errand to please everybody, which is true. Especially when it comes to fans of the Fallout games, because the experience of playing a Fallout game is different for every single person. Every person interacts with different characters, sides with different factions, and sometimes gets a different story from the game. The things that are important about the games are different from person to person. And so those people are going to go to the show with different and sometimes contradictory expectations. Pleasing all of them with one TV show? It is indeed a fool's errand. You can instead please most of them by nailing the tone and getting already established lore correct. Because I do think it's incredibly disrespectful to the fans to say, oh, that game franchise you guys have loved for 20 years? Sure, that's mediocre storytelling. I'm a big Hollywood director. I'm going to show you how to tell a real story. That kind of philosophy, that kind of attitude is incredibly disrespectful. And no director of a TV show should ever have it when making a game-to-TV adaptation. I don't think I see that attitude here. I really hope the director and everyone involved in the TV show has approached this franchise with respect for the existing storyline and respect for the people who have loved this franchise for decades. And I haven't seen anything in the trailer that leads me to believe that they haven't. I'm hoping for the best. Those are my thoughts after watching the latest trailer for the Fallout TV show. What are your thoughts? What stood out to you? Do you think that this apparent reversal of fortune that we see the NCR has undergone is unforgivable? And what are your thoughts on tone? Do you think that the trailer has nailed it? Or do you think that it misses the mark? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I publish new Fallout videos every week, and I've got a little bit more to say about the Fallout TV show and the trip I took last week. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. If you like what I do and you want to support me in another way, consider becoming a patron on Patreon or a member here on YouTube. YouTube members get little badges that appear next to their names in the comment sections of my videos, and they gain access to ox emojis that they can use in my video comments and in the live chats of my live streams. I have an Ox plushie for sale. It's in stock and ready to ship. However, quantities are limited, and I've already sold over half of them. If you want to make sure you can snag one before they're gone, order one today. I've got a merch shop with completely unique designs that you can't find anywhere else. My designs come on shirts in a variety of men's, women's, and children's sizes, and in a wide array of colors. You can find them on other products as well, like smartphone cases, pillows, posters, mugs, stickers, prints, etc. So if interested, you can find a link to my shop in the description below, or you can click here. But more than anything, I'm just so glad you're here watching this video with me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon with more lore videos and more live streams.
Here they are.
God, it's a Courser.
Oh no.
Issue the reset codes and we'll relay back to the Institute. Time is critical.
I've been looking for you.
No, I've got money. It's yours if you let me go.
What's this about money?
Yes, money. Here. 60 caps. That's all I've got. We're good, right?
Got any more on you?
What? No. I told you. That was all I had.